You are engaging in the ELA Guidebooks Unit Renaissance Art. The purpose of this video is to help you to better understand the Renaissance time period as you read the text in this unit. Be sure you have your handout and something to write with for the video. What do you think of when you think of the word Renaissance? What about a Renaissance fair? A Renaissance fair is an outdoor gathering for people to recreate and celebrate the Renaissance time period. But what is the Renaissance time period? The word Renaissance translates to rebirth in French. This time period in history is given this name because of the changes that took place in this culture. Time periods in history are given names to describe the types of events that occurred during that time. Prior to the Renaissance period, there was the Middle Ages, or the medieval times. The Middle Ages are known for the knights, kings, castles, diseases, and social statuses. The Renaissance time period came along and everything became a little fancier. This time period refers to the 14th through 17th centuries, or 1450 through 1650. So what is the big deal about this specific time period in history? Why do we need to know about the mid-1400s? Well, the Renaissance period is credited with establishing a basis for modern civilization, or for how you and I live today. If you have ever printed something, you can thank the Renaissance inventors for the invention of the printing press. The Renaissance time period followed a period of destruction and death by diseases. It was a time for growth and time for strides to be made. Prior to this time period in Europe, the Roman Catholic Church controlled what people did religiously, and the Roman Empire controlled things politically. Both of these groups began to lose their influential stance during the rise of individual countries. People began to write in their own languages instead of in Latin, and people started to find ways to make the most of their lives while they were living. These people who focused on learning and exploring the world around them became known as humanists. Now you are ready to think about some of the changes that took place during the Renaissance time period. Pause this video and record your answers on your handout at the first stop sign. Press play when you are ready to continue. Your answers may include the invention of the printing press, people writing in their own languages, and people wanting to explore the world around them and live out their lives, or people following the idea of humanism. Because people began taking learning and experiences into their own hands, the scientific world began to change because of more hands-on learning. Inventors began thinking in a different way, and one scientist even discovered that the Earth revolves around the sun instead of everything in the universe revolving around the Earth. The first human anatomy class was performed by a Belgian scientist who took on the task of dissecting dead bodies, which is a practice that medical students still do today. Let's take a closer look at more of the scientific advances that were made during this time. We've discussed a few of the inventions that were made as a result of the changes that occurred during this time period, but there are so many more. Some of the inventions that were made are as follows: stained glass windows, mechanical clocks, and spyglasses. Now you are ready to think about some of the ways that science and inventions have progressed during this time. Pause this video to record your answers and press play when you are ready to continue. Your answers may include: stained glass is still used today in many churches and other facilities. The mechanical clock is also still used today and is even considered a high-dollar item. The spyglass was a basis for other looking glass items that since have been created. Scientists discovering different things about the human body and discovering more about the solar system has led to the advancements in medicine and scientific discovery. Have you ever heard of Christopher Columbus? He is a product of the exploration that took place during the Renaissance time period. Because of curiosity and a new way of thinking became their part of life, people began to sell or travel in order to find or to prove their way of thinking. Many other explorers from Europe began to sail to the Americas during this time, which led to further exploration and discoveries. The Renaissance period of curiosity and invention created a way for explorers to sail more efficiently and eventually led to the age of exploration. Now you are ready to think about how the Renaissance period affected exploration. Pause this video to record your answers and press play when you are ready to continue. Your answers may include the Renaissance time period affected exploration because of the new way of thinking or the curiosity that people began to have. They had a desire to prove their thinking correct or to travel and to discover a different way of life. This idea led to discovering continents that Europe did not know existed and later settlements in this new world. You have learned about the Renaissance time period. As you read the text in the ELA Guidebooks Unit Renaissance Art, you will use this knowledge to help you think closely about what you read. When you finish this video, be sure to turn in your completed handout to your teacher.